On one bright and sunny morning, Johnny and Joey decide to start a business. They both had their own great ideas, so they went their own separate ways. Johnny decided to start a brick and mortar store to sell his products. He rented out a nice building at a nice location. He hired a couple of salespeople. He printed brochures and flyers and direct mail pieces. He advertised in the local newspapers. And within a few weeks, Johnny started seeing sales and a lot of local customers. Johnny was excited, but he had a very high overhead and a very low profit margin, so he decided to wait to see some growth. Joey, on the other hand, decided to start an online store to sell his products. Joey got a nice-looking website with a nice little name. He hired a content writer. He invested in online marketing and got some help with SEO and email marketing. He advertised on different websites and signed up for pay-per-click advertising. And within a few weeks, Joey started seeing sales and a lot of customers from all over the country. Joey was excited since he had very low overhead and a very high profit margin, and he could not wait to see some growth. A year passes by. Johnny was still in the same building with the same salespeople and the same marketing strategy and the same local customers. His overheads were still very high and his margins were still very low, so he decides to wait another year to see some growth. Joey moved to a new office, hired more people, and kept getting a lot of new and repeat customers from all over the country. His overheads were still very low and his margins were still very high, so he decides to start another online store to sell a different line of products. Another year passes by. And on one bright and sunny morning, Johnny and Joey meet again. Joey tells Johnny about his new marketing strategy, and Johnny realizes his mistakes. Traditional marketing can only get you so far. Think local, but act global. So this time, Johnny went back and fired his rusty salespeople and fired the old school ad agencies that did the brochures, flyers, and newspaper advertising for him. He hired a good web company and outsourced all his online marketing to them. And within a few weeks, Johnny was again a happy man to see increased profits and lower overheads. And needless to say, he was very thankful to Joey for pointing him in the right direction.
Nora's flowers are picture perfect, so with the help of these guys, she sets up an online shop and waits for the magic to happen. Except that it doesn't happen. She has visitors to her site, but hardly any sales. Wonder why. This is Drake. He needs decoration flowers for his Hawaiian restaurant. He finds Nora's website in a search. There, he finds many flowers but no anthurium. Disappointed, he leaves. This is Crystal, who wants to buy flowers for her teacher, but oh, they're all so costly, she can't afford it. And this is Jay, who needs some I'm sorry flowers for his wife, but Nora's images take so long to load that he gets fed up. Now if only Nora knew all this, wouldn't things be different? How does Nora benefit from it? Let's find out. Nora knows what Drake needs and acts on his survey suggestions. Because of a special notification, Sweet Crystal can buy flowers for her teacher. And using the feedback tab, Jay informs Nora when the images don't load, and it's dealt with. Now, Nora's business is blooming.
The internet as we know it today is an astounding success. More than 1.3 billion people are connected to the web across the globe. In 2006, 161 exabytes of information were created or replicated worldwide. IDC estimates an increase of over 6 times this metric by 2010 to 988 exabytes or a zettabyte a year. More generic estimates are that while currently new technical information doubles every 2 years, by 2010 this will be every 72 hours. The development is driven by users as well as by technology. Web 2.0 changed users to creators of content. Platforms like MySpace, seen as a country it would be the 4th largest in the world with 250 million registered users, are going to transform the traditional ways of making business connections, networking and community building. Whilst the number of users and the amount of content is growing faster and faster, the internet is departing from computers. More than 1 billion users of mobile phones already have the opportunity to access the internet, and this number will grow to 4 billion within the next few years. New technologies are changing the way we use the net. Intelligent devices, clothes, fridges, machines and factories are connected and interact automatically without direct human involvement. This will revolutionize the consumer market as the internet becomes the fundamental economic instrument. Consumers will depend entirely upon network services, and businesses will depend entirely upon the future internet to provide these services. But since the current internet consists of mostly unstructured data and resources, most of the data and resources are unusable for the average user. Fact is, the internet is broken. We still have not one web, but a vast variety of different, unlinked data that is unable to communicate. That's why future internet will have to change, and change it will.
For the new internet to be usable, we have to be able to delegate tasks to machines. The key problem here is how do we share meaning across the globe? When my machine on one side of the globe says the term bank, how does a machine on the other side of the globe understand that it means a financial institution and not the side of a river. Unless we integrate semantic technologies into the future internet, it will not be usable.
We are currently rethinking the web on various levels. We are preparing for a web of things. All electronic devices will be active participants in the future internet.
The Internet of Things is a very important part of the future internet. In the Internet of Things, we have a lot of real-world objects like cars and machines and things in the supply chain, which will be monitored directly. The things that we have, they are connected through services to the business systems, to the business operations, in order to provide, for example, higher visibility, thereby leading to improvements in business operations, in, for example, in manufacturing. And we believe that this will significantly shape the future of the internet.
Content of things and content of people. User-generated content will grow significantly and will be a driving force in future internet. Collaborative business models and social network application tools will make the future internet run with fewer barriers than we face today. Semantic technologies will support these tools. Everything and everybody will be connected. The future internet will also reorganize publicity, privacy, and anonymity, where everybody can understand how much trust can and should be extended to others. Everything, everywhere, always. We must imagine future internet as a service. Mobile, ubiquitous and pervasive, 24/7 availability will be the norm. To sustain the demands of the future internet, networks must be re-engineered. We need new networks which integrate all kinds of devices and which allow the most auspicious vision of future internet. The Internet of Services will bring an enormous increase in the efficiency of economic processes. Business processes are unified in services that can be used by different groups of people, within a company or enterprise, or externally via the Internet of Services. Soon, redundantly providing the same information again and again will no longer be necessary. Semantics will provide secure and efficient access to a coordinated set of services that are not location dependent, are interoperable, coherent, consistent, scalable, pervasive, and reliable. These services will be networked together through the future internet.
The digital information revolution is upon us. It will be built around an Internet of Services, which will depend on an Internet mobile as well as an Internet of Things. Tomorrow, every carton of milk will be on the internet. See you on the net.
This seems obvious, even though it was controversial until recently. Brand is story. So first you have to find the core story at the heart of your brand, what we call the story platform. Create narratives based on it and publish those narratives across all relevant media in weird and wonderful ways. As each story is published, it needs to be syndicated and shared with its intended audience where they're most likely to encounter those stories. Then use paid and free media, TV spots, events, paid search, and so on to let people know your content is out there. The content has to be easy to share so everyone can help spread the brand's stories. To make sure your audience can find your content when searching, everything must be optimized and tagged appropriately. So it goes round and round, driving results and effectiveness up, 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 while driving media spend down, down, down. The best part comes next. Sustained by the brand's storytelling, the brand's fans add, syndicate, and share their own content, comments, links, ratings, and entirely new versions. And all this brand-inspired content, whether new stories or conversations about old ones, creates more marketing momentum for free forever. The result of rigorously following this path is a permanent market advantage for the brand. Lower media spend, higher impact. All you need is to make sure you've got your story straight.
Kimi. She's a child of the 90s, so she's a digital native. Sure, she still does lots of things the way her parents did, but what's really important about her is how she's different from the previous generation. Here's an example. Kimi's planning a dinner party, but not just any dinner party. She's throwing a tweet-worthy feast for all her friends that will make her the queen of her social circle. Oh, and one more thing. It's the year 2020. So Kimi's a different kind of consumer with different demands. Since her whole life's been shaped by digital, she has a different relationship to retail than her parents. Sure, she's using the same channels her parents used, but how she uses them is totally different. That means attracting her with today's retail strategies isn't going to work in 2020. And just to be clear, there are cajillions of Kimis out there, getting ready to flood your retail channels, or flood someone else's. And whether or not you can attract these Gen 2020s depends on the decisions you make right now. Understanding how to attract consumers like Kimi will be crucial for retailers over the next decade. Provide better basics, embrace hyper-convenience, offer consumers an experience, and do all of these things digitally as well as in your physical channels. Remember Kimi's dinner party? Well, the first thing she needs to do is make a list of what she needs. And since digital devices will have proliferated so much by then, she'll be ready to engage either digitally or in person, which means you've got to be ready. No matter how she decides to engage, you've got to be prepared to do a better job of providing the basics. Things like selection and shopping environment will influence her decision in person, and browsing speed and security will make or break a digital transaction. In both cases, a better basic experience is the first step in attracting Gen 2020. And once Kimi is interested, you've got two ways to win her heart. Either make shopping easier for her, both physically and digitally, or make it an engaging experience. Or both. To successfully engage Gen 2020, you've got to make things hyper-convenient and meaningful. Just displaying your wares won't work anymore. Kimi wants an experience when she goes shopping. And your work isn't done when the transaction's complete. Kimi's a social being. She shares her experience with other Gen 2020s. And her recommendation starts the cycle over again for one of her friends. Retail success in 2020 depends upon nurturing a relationship with customers, so you're already at their fingertips the next time they need you. Kimi's dinner party is a success. She found a retailer that delivered better basics, her transaction was easy as pie, and she had a great experience she shared with her social circle. Attracting customers like Kimi in the future will be hard work, but by monitoring the evolution of the consumers in your locale, you'll be ready to offer Gen 2020 the retail relationship they'll demand.
than half of the human race is under 30 years old. They have never known life without the internet. Guess how they feel about social media. Last year, 1 in 6 marriages were between people who met through social media. 1/3 of women 18 to 34 check Facebook when they first wake up, even before going to the bathroom. 95% of millennials have joined a social network. And those are your consumers, co-workers, CEOs, decision makers. 81% of B2B companies have accounts on social media sites. 93% of all business buyers are social media advocates. Radio took 38 years to reach 50 million users. Television took 13 years to reach 50 million users. The internet took 4 years to reach 50 million users. 850 million monthly active Facebook users. 1+ million websites have integrated with Facebook in various ways. 77% of B2C companies and 43% of B2B companies acquired customers from Facebook. Facebook added 100 million users in less than 9 months. If Facebook were a country, it would be the 3rd most populated in the world. More than 25 million pieces of content are shared each month in social media websites. Minutes spent on Facebook per month. It is 500 billion. LinkedIn receives almost 12 million unique visitors per day. Executives from all Fortune 500 companies are on LinkedIn. There are more than 600 million search on Twitter every day. Top 3 countries in terms of the number of Twitter accounts. 34% of marketers have generated leads using Twitter. 77% of Fortune Global 100 companies have a Twitter account. Pinterest hit 10 million US monthly unique visitors faster than any independent sites in history. 2,702.2% increase in total unique visitors since May 2011. 69% of online consumers who visit Pinterest have found an item they've bought or wanted to buy. 25% of Fortune Global 100 companies have Pinterest accounts. Google Plus has 500 million plus registered users. 48% of Fortune Global 100 companies are now on Google Plus. 40% of marketers use Google Plus. 70% users want to learn more about Google Plus. 67% users plan on increasing Google Plus activities. 24 hours of video uploaded to YouTube every minute. There are 2 billion videos viewed each day on YouTube. YouTube uses the same bandwidth now that the entire internet used in year 2000. You would need to live 1,000 years to watch all the videos currently on YouTube. Traditional media depends on intercepting the consumers, cutting through clutter, getting attention. It is no longer about shouting the loudest. Only 14% of consumers trust advertising. 78% trust peer recommendation. Today, people get their information online. Social media is the new way of thinking and marketing. It is all about building a dialogue with your customers, co-workers, potential hires. Still don't think social media will affect your business? It already has.
you.